Hi Siddharth, a very warm welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Currently, you're placed in Asian Paints, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that is the job that you landed right out of IIT, or was there anything else involved as well?
So Asian Paints happened to me through a case competition. So
Mm-hmm.
I did my summer internship at Diageo, and fortunately or not fortunately, the PPO did not come through.
Uh-huh.
So I really started to focus on getting case competitions and cracking a lot of them. So participated, I think, left and right in all of these competitions, and happened to get to the national final rounds for Asian Paints. And
Wow.
from there, I got an opportunity to get a PPI, and that PPI converted into a pre-placement offer. And yes, so
Exactly.
that's how.
That's where you are currently. What is the role like at Asian Paints? What role are you working in?
So the competition was chain reaction, and it is about supply chain and operations. So that is where I got placed in supply chain
Mm-hmm.
and operations. So currently, I'm in one of their production units,
Mm-hmm.
and over there I'm handling production. Like I'm in the production department,
What's
liquid
a
paint.
tip? What's a typical day like in the supply chain management role? Like, what do you get to do every day?
So it is very diverse. Like in supply chain management, there are a lot of things. There are purchase, there are new products, there are production, there is quality, there is environment and safety, a lot of things. So I can tell you about production.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in production also my part. In my area, so basically what you have to do, you have to ensure that the production like keeps on running, number one. So you cannot afford any losses. So there is a lot of firefighting that is involved.
Mm-hmm.
The equipment could break down. There could be some sort of an issue that could be with the operators out there.
Basically, warehouse management, probably.
Warehouse is like a different area. This is like
Mhm.
production. Like whereas you can say it's more
Stock management.
stock management, people management, that you have to ensure that the business is running. And apart from that, you also in Asian Paints you also get to do a lot of projects over there. For example, right now I'm doing a project to digitalize the calculation of mixer time and creating a whole dashboard through which you can list out the top 10 reasons why something is not working, something is not working. So it's in parallel to all of that.
It gets to be analytical as well. More than on ground, it gets to be analytical as well.
Yes. You have an opportunity to do that as well.
Wow.
Now, it could be a different experience for somebody else, but for me, it is. For me, this is what it is, and yes, it could be.
That really gives me an insight on how the work is. Let's talk a little bit about you though. Let's start off from your journey right from your undergrad to IIT Bombay. Like, can you
Sure.
talk to us a little bit about that?
Also, this journey was surprising for me as well because I'm from Chandigarh,
Hmm.
and I did my mechanical engineering from one of the colleges under Punjab University, and I think during my undergrad it was pretty much fixed that I'm not going to stay in India. Just like every other kid from Punjab or Chandigarh, we just want to go abroad.
Now we are stereotyping.
So I
Yeah.
was that stereotypical kid, and actually, most of my friend circle is abroad. No one is there right now. So that was my mind was set, and luckily I got admission into McGill for one of the courses, and I was all set to join that. But COVID happened.
Oh, what happened? Yeah.
And COVID was a very big thing in the whole scene of calculation that I had in mind because the course was very expensive. It was for 1 year, and I was planning to work over there and then pay off some of the debt that I would be taking. And hello, I think you're gone.
Yeah, we lost you. We lost you.
Sorry. So where was I? Where was I?
Calculation cost was very high, and
Yes,
you had to.
yes. So basically, what happened was that the course fees was very expensive, and I had planned that I was gonna work, and side by side, gonna to pay off my debt. But in COVID, that scenario was very different. There was no clarity as to such you will get a secondary job, will you even get a job after doing this course, even though it was a very
Exactly.
nice course. So I had to really think about it that am I ready to take such a big decision and such a big risk? So after talking to a lot of seniors, I was like, कि नहीं अभी के लिए we have to delay that. And so I thought of preparing for CAT because MBA was something that I feel in India, you get a lot of opportunities. Honestly, like
Probably.
you have to do an MBA, जहाँ तक मेरे understanding हुआ, to like really get to those roles, to those higher
Hmm.
roles. And the
Hmm.
probability is higher if you do an
Hmm.
MBA and then get, and the path is also shorter. You can get
Hmm.
there, but the MBA shortens that path. So I was like, I'm gonna do MBA now. So 3 to 4 months I prepared very sincerely because I
Hmm.
had nothing else to do. I just had this one thing. and really through God's grace and a lot of luck is involved in all of this placement process. I was able to land into IITB,
Mhm.
and I am Shillong since I'm a fresher, gem fresher, so engineer fresher, and also even at my percentile, the best calls I had were IIT Bombay, and I am Shillong.
Mhm.
So that was what I had, and luckily able to convert IIT Bombay, and I joined that. So that has been my journey. And honestly, now the 2 years I spent at IIT, I'm like they were totally worth it.
Yeah.
I have that is one of the best experiences I've had in my life, honestly.
Feels really nice to know that. But talking about your preparation strategy again, right after 2019 when COVID happened, so you had a year gap or a gap of a couple of years?
No, so I think my degree completed in around September 2020, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And these courses you have to apply already. So I had applied for the January intake in McGill.
Oh,
And
oh.
this course is so till June we were around free that we didn't have much to do. So
Mhm.
June to November I was preparing for CAT. So I prepared. I gave CAT after I graduated.
After your graduation. So there was no gap year as such.
No, but effectively it becomes a gap year because this whole process November
Exactly. Last
exam
for a
hota
year.
hai,
Yeah.
but jab wo hota process admission is next July,
Yeah.
so it becomes a year. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, but nobody questions you on that. Ki ye gap year tha. That's not. I don't think anybody calls up
For whatever placement interviews that you were a part of, they didn't question you on that gap year as well.
never. It's I don't think it
It's
even
never an
strikes
issue.
them. Yeah, if, unless it's like 2 to 3 years ना तो वो थोड़ा देखते हैं कि अच्छा क्या हुआ 2 3 साल से क्या करा. And usually these are people who are preparing for IS maybe or doing their own business, so they also have pretty valid answers and they can
Yeah, yeah.
justify as well.
Makes sense, makes sense. But another thing is, how did you have this clarity that yes, you want to endeavor in the corporate? Like, how did you have this crystal clear clarity?
Crystal clear clarity. Oh God, I never had that clarity honestly. But it's more about looking at the options that you have, and I work by looking at my options and rejecting the ones that I
Elimination method. Yeah.
elimination. Yes, and then what I have is what I have, and at that time, if you want me to go through the process, I can go. For
Mhm.
example, when I was in that stage that I was to decide कि अभी बाहर तो नहीं जा पा रहे, तो what was the option? So
Mhm.
I had either IS, I could prepare for UPSC, I could
Mhm.
prepare for GATE, or
Mhm.
I could prepare for MBA. And the
Mhm.
last one was business, start your own business. And that I wasn't really comfortable in that because I do not come from a business family, so never was exposed to that रिस्क टेकिंग
Yeah.
मेंटालिटी. एंड ऑल्सो आई वांटेड कि चलो थोड़ा टाइम एक बिजनेस में काम करते हैं, कॉर्पोरेट में काम करते हैं, लर्न फ्रॉम पीपल, नेटवर्क फ्रॉम पीपल, देन मे बी आई स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस. सो बिजनेस तो आउट, कि बिजनेस अभी नहीं करना है. बच्चे तीन
Exactly.
ऑप्शन. यूपीएससी, honestly it was like the chances are very low, like
Very
100
slim.
people make it every year.
Yeah.
So I was not in a situation ki, that I really didn't want to take that risk. कि हाँ, I wanted something that had थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा possibility of me making somewhere, making
Mhm.
it. ठीक है.
Mhm.
तो यूपीएससी was eliminated. बचा गेट एंड एमबीए. तो
Mhm.
गेट तो आई वाज लाइक मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग कर ली, अब और नहीं. अब नहीं मुझे इसमें जाना. एंड ऑल्सो आई टॉक टू सम सीनियर्स एज वेल जो गेट के थ्रू गए थे. एंड अ कॉमन थीम आई यूज्ड टू गेट फ्रॉम दैट इज यार कि काम चैलेंजिंग नहीं है, वही रूटीन काम करते रहते हैं. इट इज ग्रेट अगर तुम 35 के बाद यहाँ हो क्योंकि चिल रहता है, वो सब रहता है. तो आई वाज नॉट गेटिंग दैट पंच कि हाँ मिसिंग है यार. तो मैंने कहा नहीं, कॉर्पोरेट में थोड़ा मेहनत कर लेंगे, बट एटलीस्ट कुछ चैलेंजिंग टास्क, आई विल गेट टू नेटवर्क विद पीपल मोर. तो फिर आई टुक अ कॉल कि नहीं, गेट नहीं करना, क्योंकि जो जॉब आगे मिलेगा जैसे आईओसीएल वगैरह में. बाय द वे, कैन आई टॉक इन हिंदी इंग्लिश, व्हाट इज नीड?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
ठीक है ना, इट्स फाइन
It's all
लाइक
about your comfort. It's all about your comfort.
तो दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज लाइक कि नहीं, गेट तो नहीं. एंड देन कैट. सो दिस इज हाउ आई एलिमिनेटेड माय ऑप्शंस एंड went ahead with this.
Talking about how limited the opportunities for a student are, it has to do a lot with how India fares in development strategies as well, right? Given the fact that mechanical engineering students are not finding a lot of opportunities, goes
Yeah.
to say that our manufacturing sector is also very plagued. What do you think?
So I would not say that there are a dearth of opportunities for mechanical engineers.
Mhm.
The thing is, there is a dearth of high paying or say good paying jobs out there for mechanical engineers. There is a lot of, for example, a mechanical engineer most likely will have to be a GET,
Hmm.
graduate engineer training when he joins to in some plant or say somewhere, and then the pay is not that good, and you have to work 6 days a week, and also you are like on your toes all the time.
Yep.
And when you compare that with your peers who maybe got into computer science, which are getting a good, nice corporate job, higher pay, higher chances of promotion, quicker promotions, you really do not want to delve into that space. Honestly, for me, that was the case. For example, ऐसा नहीं था that there were not companies out there जो mechanical engineers are को hire नहीं कर. There were plenty, and many of my friends have gotten into those companies as well. बस मुझे वो था that for me, the kind of growth, compensation, and the work was not what I had envisioned. Okay, because when you are little, I took mechanical engineering because I love to make. I was like very involved in making cars and all of that. So I
Wow.
thought it was going to be something in those lines, but reality is a bit different. So it's not. So I didn't feel it very exciting. So it's good. I cut my losses and I shifted to somewhere else. Yeah.
You cut your losses, but talking of your passion, your innate passion, if there's one thing that we can do better as a system at solving the growth trajectory problems of mechanical engineers, what do you recommend on that? How can it absorb people like you who were once passionate but are shifting to other domains? How can we prevent that?
For that, we need a lot of investment in R&D and a lot of companies building their manufacturing capabilities over here.
Exactly.
And main thing is that only like you have to work a lot of investment has to go into R&D, because only then you can pay these people well enough so that they are also, because आज के time में यार थोड़ा ऐसा pay का is an issue that you,
Absolutely.
if you can pay well, you can, the you can also
Get
fulfill.
efficiency out of the people.
Yeah, that's it.
Makes sense, makes sense. And so the reason I'm trying to talk to you about all the intricacies of pursuing jobs is because there's this widespread allegation that
Hmm.
people pursue MBA and then they
Hmm.
override those who are endeavoring hard as engineers without having any knowledge of what the company is working on. This is this paradox, people without any knowledge do an MBA, get on the higher pedestal, and people who are engineers keep working on the bottom line. That is the reason. So,
Hmm. So you want my thoughts on that?
what do you think? Like, is this the right way of looking at things, or is it wrong of what engineers think about this?
So, man, this is something I face as well. So, I am working with a lot of engineers as well.
Yeah,
Uh, and matlab, it's a very difficult topic to talk about as well. Like, I can give you two perspectives. From an engineer side, you know say you're working so much, you worked so hard, and you, after like 5 to 6 years of promotions and all, you finally become a manager, right? And you know the plant inside out, you know every machine, what
exactly.
RM goes, what finished good comes out, how to tackle any problem. And there comes an MBA guy who's a fresher who just studied for 2 years, and now he is either your superior,
Superior.
or he's just had that short part to it. But so from his perspective, like, it is a bit unfair to him,
Yep.
right? How the system is, that he's been working so hard. What does he lack? Like, he can also do all of this. But then when you go on to, why companies are doing this, it's because they are getting results. Like, no company would hire an immature or underperforming MBA in compared to, like, an
Six
experienced
years.
engineer if he's not being able to produce results. For example, in Asian Paints, most of our leadership, like the C-level execs, are all people who were inducted through this MBA MBA leap program, like the program that we have for MBA graduates. So honestly, सारा काम उन्हें नहीं दिखता है जो that the MBA people are also doing. They have that different outlook to things. For in the 2 years, you also expand your mind a lot in terms of business, and you can think of a problem, not just how to improve it efficiently, but also how to make sure that it's cost effective, and also to choose which are the solutions that you should work on, rather than working in any solution, that rather than working on any problem, you'll try to work on a problem jahan sabse zyada returns mile is company.
Wow. Wow.
So the MBA people also have that. So since they are bringing the results, that is why, the companies are continuing to work on with the system. But I would not deny that it is kind of a bit unfair. But yes, one thing that we always say, that nobody is stopping you from doing an MBA. Go ahead. Let's do it. We were also engineers. It's not like we were born MBAs or like this was
Exactly.
something. We were
Yeah.
engineers. We decided that, this is how the system is working. So yeah, let's go ahead with an MBA. I mean, that is what we
That,
did.
that's a very conclusive way of emphasizing on the efficiency part. That is something that doesn't occur to a lot of us. That there's a reason why companies are investing in MBAs.
Yes.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You also mentioned during the introduction that the couple of years you spent at IIT Bombay were the best moments of your life. Let's talk a little more about that. What was your first impression when you landed at the campus? When the gates opened? What was your
Ah,
impression?
4 साल का सपना. आई मीन सोचो, यूजी में किसका सपना नहीं होता, लाइक इंजीनियर बनना.
Exactly. IIT में आना.
IIT जाना है, was not able to fulfill that तब, and finally जब करा तो it was like amazing. And
Hmm.
honestly for me, so my IIT experience did not start with the campus from day one.
Hmm.
Till summer internships, it was an online experience.
Hmm.
And so my first impression was IIT, about IIT was the people. And I really sometimes think that I was so lucky that I really found really great people. Like, I cannot emphasize enough that the people were amazing. Like, they were my support system. ऐसे में लगता था कि that people will pull your legs, and
Exactly.
very
Yeah.
toxic. But I was very lucky to get, these amazing set of friends who've always been there for me. We fight a lot. ऐसा नहीं है कि we don't fight, but honestly, there's always that sense of brotherhood that I have with them, and that is irreplaceable. I mean, yeah, that network that I have out there, that I know that these are my support people, no matter what happens, is something that I cherish a lot. And so the number one is people, and that was like the first 6 months for IIT. That was the people were that for me. And the day I came into campus, it was like, oh, the campus is so pretty. It's in Bombay. I don't like Bombay, by the way, but I like the campus in Bombay because it's
That's
like a completely different world. You get inside the campus, immediately the temperatures drop by 2 to 3 degrees.
Whoa.
That Yes, that is the kind of, it's very green, it's very lush. We have a hill out there in the campus, Samir Hills, which you can trek upstairs and have a look around. Then there is so much energy all of the time in the campus because all of these UG students, PG students having competitions year day in day out. And जब हम थे तो we were very lucky कि classes were online,
Yeah.
so we used to attend online classes. So we had a lot of time to play games, sports. I was not a very active person in sports,
Outgoing.
but outgoing. But like, I used to have a lot of fun with the people inside the hostel and all.
Wow.
And so it was a very fun experience in that sense.
So it's more about the people than anything else. That's what you have to say.
People, yes, people, infrastructure, opportunities that you get. I got to go to Europe for a summer school program. That was like one of the best trips I had. Taught me so much. Like, it was in the time of COVID, and I was like planning like every detail. And I would like recommend, like, if you go out, just try to plan everything. It will
Mm.
teach you so much about finances, selection, rejection, like how to hedge your risks, and all of that. It's like amazing. So that taught me a lot of lessons that I
So,
really like.
so that was an exchange program that you were a part of.
So there are two options. You have an exchange program, and also you have like a summer school program. I went
Hmm.
for the summer school program because it was shorter, less expensive.
Hmm.
uh, so what was it? I think the fees was around 50,000,
Hmm.
and the college also reimburses 50,000 for you. So
That's nice.
practically the tuition fee is waived, and then you just have to take care of your expenses over there. So I was in Europe for around 19 days. 10
Hmm.
days was the summer school program. It was on entrepreneurship and culture in Europe. And the 9 days we had to, travel Europe, and we planned our entire trip. We went to Switzerland, we went to Paris. We, checkmarked all of these places with
Yeah.
my like really close friends. Uh,
Nice.
had a lot of memories. बहुत चीजें खराब हुई, बहुत चीजें अच्छी हुई. Learned
Must
a
have
lot.
been a memorable experience. So is
Best
I yeah
time.
yeah is IIT Bombay a part of any framework that allows its students to be enrolled in summer programs, or is there anything else that comes in play?
Framework, as in, is
As
there
in
an?
IIT Calcutta is a part of the SEMS framework, which is a group of management schools across all the colleges in Europe. So
Oh,
is IIT Bombay also part of a similar framework? Did you get to choose from a certain list?
okay. So the thing is, there is this team over here that we have, international relationships team. I think that is the name of the ART club, I think, of our college. No, IIT club of our college. and they basically negotiate and talk with campuses abroad. So we
Mhm.
have like 4 to 5 colleges with which we have these
Good ties.
good ties, and students can go there for either summer exchange or they can go there for a school program. There is no such big association that you just mentioned that you can choose from, like a many, but there are 4 to 5 colleges. I went to KU Leuven, which is also a very, I think, nice and
Prominent.
prominent university of
Makes
Europe.
sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. You also mentioned initially that it's an amalgamation of UG and PG students at IIT Bombay. It's a day of enthusiasm every day. So, does that integration help when you pursue an MBA, when you have all the tech students around, contrary to what a typical B school looks like?
Depends, like, what is in your mind. For
Mhm.
example, say if I was running a startup and I needed some tech people on board, so IIT
Exactly.
is a place to be. Like, you can just float out a mail, and like you can immediately find yourself people who are ready to work with you, fellow founders, co-founders. There is a so it depends on the person, and definitely I think that is one thing. If someone is willing to work in that space, however, I didn't see a lot of people doing that,
Mhm.
because MBA में जब आता है तो फिर MBA ही हो जाता है कि हाँ.
Exactly.
But if someone is like very focused on like getting to the startup route, there are a lot of opportunities in IIT. Plus, you get that IIT wala tag, which somewhere or the other helps.
Helps.
Hmm.
And what is the pedagogy like? The professors are more inclined towards the tech side of the business, or they do dwell into the commerce side of the business?
It depends upon the course that you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think the pedagogy is more based. There's no inclination as such.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be focused just on the tech side or the commerce side. It will be well balanced. That is required, and but definitely depends upon the specific teacher how he wants to take it. Like, we also have, if you want me to divide, then there is theory based learning and also case based learning. Some teachers will, they will just, every time they will give a case, and that case will be discussed in the class. That is it. Some teachers will come with their slide of decks and they will teach you about that. Some teachers do not believe in taking final exams. They will just take assignments, and
Mm-hmm.
they will give you assignments throughout the semester, and they're going to mark you accordingly, and give theory in between. And some teachers also have like a simulation based program. For example, for change management, we have this simulation with Harvard Business School, online simulation that our professor uses to teach change management. So they are free to experiment how they want to carry their courses, and so you get like a diverse set of things
Diverse
happening
things.
in there.
And what are the number of subjects in your first semester and the electives that are offered to you in your second year?
So as far as I remember, I'm not sure about the exact number. I think six subjects were there. The load is not as much as say an IM where you have to complete a lot of subjects. It's not like that. If you want a general idea, you can get there are like 2 to 3 classes at max in a day, and also you will get. And if there are 3 classes in a day, that also means एक दिन थोड़ा ज़्यादा light हो जाएगा.
Acha.
So it is pretty much chill. It's not like you're just in classes all day long listening to professors and all. You have ample time to explore your other interests or even work on your side projects and side hustles as well.
Wow, wow, wow. And about electives again, what are the most diverse options that you can put on your plate? Like, what is something really extravagant that you can pursue?
Really extravagant.
Yeah. Something out of the box as an option.
So we have this course called Money and Happiness.
Oh.
Take
Mhm.
and it is being taken by a professor who left McKinsey uh,
Nice.
consulting job, and he teaches us about not just money and happiness, but that is like a big part of him also trying us to teach ki corporate mein, after a point you have to be satisfied as well. Sort of money won't be able to give you that satisfaction. He is one guy who could have been making so much more, but he has like just gave it all up and working at IIT, and he's having the best time of his life now. So there are like softer nuances that are also taught, not just always कि हाँ पावर बीआई सिखा दिया या एक्सेल में कौन सा मॉडल चलाना है. Those are courses are there. There are also trading courses are also there. There are derivatives trading. Every course is there. But this is some course that I found a bit different that I've not heard being offered in other campuses.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
But he also tells us about the history of money, how money is
Has
what it is,
evolved over the years.
how has it evolved, where it could go in the future, what are the opportunities and everything.
You also mentioned that a lot of Power BI and the rest of the analytical tools are taught. So are the roles that come on the campus not exclusively, of course, but dominated by analytics?
No, I'm sorry if that is what came across. It's not like they teach a lot of Power BI or something. Power BI is mostly what people do on their own.
Yep.
Like in operations, you're going to learn a lot of Excel because you have to solve cases and all. But Power BI is something that you do on your own. And to answer your second question, that are there a lot of analytical companies coming to campus? In my experience, it has been changing almost every year. For example, 2 to 3 years ago, if you would say that does any marketing company come, I would like, हाँ, एक दो आती होंगी. But now, like a good amount of people have been placed in like very good packages and very good roles in marketing companies this year. So the roles are very changing. You get primarily, I would still say it's an ops college. It was an ops college.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of big FMCGs coming in, Colpal, HUL, Asian Paints, ITC, all the big brand names
Yep, yep,
coming
yep.
in. Then you have consulting roles coming in with PwC, Deloitte, Accenture Strategy. They are also focused more on operations consulting, I would say. And you also have marketing, as I said. There is a good part of finance with JPMC and all. JPMC, Nomura, they come with the finance roles. So it's a good mix. But yeah, many people have went into IT as well, IT analytics.
Been in IT as well. You
So
mentioned that a lot of roles come for operations exclusively. How has the ITB evolved itself to, become a name for operations?
okay, so what I think is that operations. So basically, the admission process in IIT is like your course has to enable to be able to apply to this MBA program at IIT. Your UG should be, I think, more than 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, that cuts off a lot of streams which are
A lot
not.
of bachelors from arts and
Yes.
commerce are automatically
Yes.
cut off.
Yes. So now, when you look at the my batch, it is mostly engineers. Like largely, there are engineers in my batch, which is not the case in a normal in another typical B school.
Yep, yep, yep.
So when you have a lot of engineers, there is also a certain. I don't want to be stereotypical, but matlab there is a numbers ka analytical mind
Number crunching. Yeah.
which is there, and operations requires a lot of that. So फिर I think the companies would prefer कि ऐसा engineering based college जहाँ से
Ah,
you have a
makes
higher
sense.
chance of finding those people.
Makes sense.
Baki, how has this journey been? Like, why are we just in operations? I don't want to comment exactly because I'm not completely sure, but this is one thing that comes to my mind, seeing the work that I do now. That engineers are better suited for handling operations job because a lot of times you will be placed in plants as well. So now you cannot like right now I'm working in a plant, right? And
Mm-hmm.
now if you ask me कि अगर कोई commerce stream से बच्चा या फिर someone who's in arts now, you throw him into a plant after MBA, it will be very difficult for him to
Yeah.
you do not know the machinery, you do not know anything about that place, so it becomes a little different. So I think that is also one thing that might have factored into that thing. But recently things have been changing, and more and more we are trying to bring in other
Other
domains as
other
well.
domains as well. That makes sense. And what is the batch size to be precise?
So we have a very exclusive cohort, very small.
Uh-huh.
uh, I think in our time there were like what 120 odd people, 120.
120. 120 is the exact number that came to my mind. But yeah,
It's very less in a sense because
when you compare it with the rest of the B schools.
yes, yes, but it has its own set of advantages as well. For example, like what I heard on Pehle ki it is very competitive, it becomes very toxic, people, backstab and all. That doesn't happen because itne se to bacche hain. So everybody gets a good placement, everybody's there for each other. So we have this thing like if I get placed, say I get placed, so now it is my responsibility that I have to fight. Matlab, the responsibility of fighting as a batch is from the start, but a
Uh,
part of it is like once you get placed, you're supposed to help the people who are not being placed, Abhi sir. So we help them write their SOPs, help them take their interviews, give them any support, do their work on their behalf maybe sometimes. So there is a lot of unity and bonding in that sense that
wow,
happens.
wow, wow.
That is why
That,
that
that's
people
a
also.
very contrary thing to what we get to hear, that there's cutthroat competition, just like you mentioned. So
Uh,
the
that is
task
what I
is
heard,
set.
but I didn't feel that like no matter anyone I went to, they would like always be
Being
very
so
open and share and be supportive. Hardly for some people would not be that.
that's so nice to know. And about the placements, so are there subsequent companies that keep coming in for the placements, or is there an IM system like day one and all of you are placed? How does it all happen?
Okay, so we have this system. We have day one, day two, day three, day zero, day
Hmm.
one, day two, day three, and we also have some companies which are allowed to come before day zero, day one,
Hmm.
which happens around 15 to 20 days before. So companies will keep coming in, like say 20 days before, one company will come in 15-day prior to day zero, 10th day prior to day zero, and uh, a significant portion of the batch is placed even before the day's process starts. And once the day process starts, then it's like you have interviews back to back, back to back, back to back in the morning. And within, I think, 1 or 2 days, everyone gets placed, 1 or 2 to 3 days.
Everybody gets placed, and what about the people who have really bad academic records from the past? First and foremost, do they even make it to IITB given the rigorous selection process, or there are a few students of that kind?
There are a few students. One of my really good friend is also, he was also suffering from bad from the mistakes of the past. I really do not support this as well because ठीक है पहले number नहीं है यार. Why would you like keep on
Why can't
having
we move
that?
ahead? Yeah,
But I guess that is the problem that we have since we have a lot of population in India. You have to somehow filter people out.
exactly.
This is the only way you can ensure that filtering people out, which is somewhat logical as well, right?
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's not possible for you to have a thorough, comprehensive and evaluation of every person's extracurricular and academic.
Exactly. Makes sense. Makes sense.
People can fake it, people can do a lot of things, and that will open another set of problems. So yes, that is there, but I have seen people that have made it with very bad scores as well in IIT.
They've
Very
made it.
60 70 भी आया लोगों का, but they are there.
So they've made it into the companies as well without any lot of problems. So were there significant problems in getting through the placements?
Hmm. Again, as you know, you've been through the MBA process, a lot of luck is involved, right? A lot of luck is
Exactly.
involved. So, for example, if you want to really get into consulting, then it could be a problem because in consulting, they have like a
Triple
strict,
nine. Yeah.
yeah, they have a strict, you won't get a shortlist, you can't get in. तो तुम प्रूव ही नहीं कर सकते. बट मेनी कंपनीज डू नॉट हैव दैट, सो इट्स ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम्हें इंटरव्यू कॉल्स ही नहीं आएंगे. Everyone will get those interview calls. Maybe you might get placed later, like you might not be the first ones to get placed, but you will get placed. It is challenging because now you are in these 100 people are your life, so you might be thoda sa piche. But overall, if you look at it from a bird's eye view, you are doing pretty well. Had you been to some other college, maybe.
Acha, had the person been in some other college, he would have been doing better off. That's what you're trying to say.
Had
Compared to the rest of the colleges.
हाँ, मतलब
That's
compared to, you're still doing better off even if you're not as, maybe you're not the first person to get placed, maybe you're the 50th or 60th person to get placed. You might feel कि हाँ अरे इतना कितना पीछे रह गया, but when you look at through a larger lens, you are still doing better than a lot of people out there.
exactly. That
मतलब
makes that
आई
makes
डोंट,
sense.
ऐसा तो रखना ही नहीं चाहिए कि मेरे मार्क्स कम है, मे बी आई शुड नॉट डू एन एमबीए क्योंकि आई विल बी एट डिसएडवांटेज ओवर देयर. नॉट एट ऑल. आई मीन, just doing an MBA will give you offset a lot of that problem that you have with those low marks. You will
Exactly.
get into a good role, and once you get the first company, I think after that itna issue nahi hota. Then it's mostly your performance. You keep on applying, you give referrals to people, your friends will help you switch and all, and you will rise up. It will be mostly based on performance. At least that's what I think as of now. I'll update when that changes.
People don't scrutinize and obsess with the past academic performances as one moves up the career ladder. That's what you want to summarize.
Yes, that is
And
what I heard, and I hope that is what I experienced.
and is there a centralized placement cell in the institute, or how does it all happen? Like what's going on?
We have our own placement committee. We have our own placement club of 7 people that are elected by us only.
Hmm.
They handle our placements. So there is
And
the
is
IT placements is different.
IT placement is different, but is there any institutional intervention to promote and actually ensure that all of the things are going on well? Because we hear a lot of rumors that placement cell reps are going after and pitching their own resumes in companies. Does all of that happen?
Mm, So in terms of intervention, we have faculty coordinators as well who are overseeing. It's not like it's completely student driven. They do report to one of the one or two faculties who ensure that the process is happening fairly. And if anyone has any problem, like if anyone sees that some place commerce is not working ethically or is not doing the right thing, they can always reach out to the professor. And moreover, I think in our batch. Uh, Things were discussed openly. Like if people saw something that was not fine, they would just voice it out there and then, and it would get sorted.
Wow.
And honestly, there was not a lot of negativity in my batch, apart from maybe थोड़ा तो बहुत rumors वगैरह रहता ही यार, ऐसा तो नहीं है, won't be not to all goody
Holier
goody.
than thou. है ना?
But ठीक है, it was not something कि I never felt कि the place commerce ने जान के हमें बैठने नहीं दिया, इसमें खुद जाके बैठ गए, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. Like this is what I heard पहले कि
Yeah.
ऐसा होता है, they will push their CVs around, and no, so I didn't feel that
Wow.
too much happen. It could कुछ cases में हुआ होगा, like that, but I was not affected as one of those people.
Apart from placement cell, what other student organizations are a part of your college?
So many clubs. Just so I'll start with SOM. So SOM has a lot of clubs. You have I was part of entrepreneurship club. You have marketing club, operations club. You have finance club. You have HR club. You have IT club, and all of them work to create these uh, seminar, industry talk sessions, and uh, regular events that keep on happening. So they work on that. But if that is, we also have teams like admission team, placement team, international relations team, alumni relations team. So this is like the set bread and butter that is available in every B school.
Mhm.
But apart from that, we have really interesting opportunities in terms of IITB where you're allowed to apply. For example, we have Hyperloop. We have Team Shunya working. Team Shunya is basically, a venture which is working to create sustainable housing for people. So over there also you get a chance to work with those people in IITB as an in your capacity as an MBA student. So there are a lot of tech products that are working over there. You can be part of FSI, Formula Student India's management team, like the people who build cars. I was part of that in undergraduation, but now you can go into like a managerial perspective into that. So a lot of clubs and opportunities that are open, and you do get a chance to work there.
So, in comparison to the rest of the top IIMs, there's no dearth of opportunities, right, at IITB,
A dearth of opportunities in what sense?
in terms of exposure exclusively.
Like in terms of, yeah, lot of exposure, like with the best of the best in the country. Like it is your initiative that if you go out, you can go out. खेलने चले जाओ किसी के साथ, like go out there to play badminton, make a friend. He's from computer science, he's working on something. Now both of you are might be working. So it will not happen खुद से कि
Hmm.
that someone is going to come to you and but if you have that mindset, you can go out there and you can build those connections. It is very very easy because in IM you cannot do that. There
Mm-hmm.
you have like MBA, MBA, MBA.
You don't have that audience in IIM. Makes sense,
Ah,
makes sense.
yeah, you can.
And again, it boils down to the kind of people you have, the networking opportunities.
Yes, yes.
Talking of the fests and stuff, Mood Indigo, of course, is madly famous.
Yeah.
Almost everybody in the country knows if he's a student. But apart from that, is there anything else that happens on the cultural end?
All the time. Like every month there is something happen. The campaign, Halloween हो रहा है, दिवाली हो रहा है. ये तो चलो festivals हो गए. But उसके अलावा sometimes auto वाहन, avenues, IITB's fest that happens. Nitin Gadkari came this time. A lot of buzz was around the campus that Nitin Gadkari is coming for SGM SOM's avenues event. You have flash mobs happening. You have I think साल में 3-4 बारी तो कुछ sports event ही हो जाता है. We have Prithvi, we have a lot of events are happening. There is no dearth of events. Matlab, the campus is always alive with some other event happening over there.
And do students from SOM, School of Management, get to be part of the organizing committee of Mood Indigo or the rest of the fest?
I think they can be part. I don't think many of us were part because the timelines are not very uh,
In alignment with what you guys have.
conducive.
Yeah.
So that is one thing, but I don't think there is any restriction. That if you want to be part of that, the forms are, so the email ID that we get, that is also linked to IITB as well. So any mail that goes into IITB goes to all of the departments.
Acha, acha.
So you get to apply over there as well. So you can, get into those opportunities.
That makes sense. And in the earlier part of the interview, you mentioned that you were applying for case competitions left and right. So,
Yeah.
what is the case competition culture at IIT Bombay? Do you guys do anything beyond Unstop to get better at it?
Beyond Unstop to get better at it, can I get some more clarity? Like what are you?
So most of the people, when I talk to them about case competition, they tell that okay, I open and stop, I apply randomly at all the opportunities, and that's it. Is there anything more that you guys do? Sort of synergize and get better at solving them, or probably do something to get better at it.
Okay, so for me, what I saw, first of all, I'm not like a big shot case comp. I any case comp I touch, I make it. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. But so
Yeah.
take my advice with a pinch of salt. But what I had, the advice given to me by one of my seniors was that just like MBA, case comps also involve a lot of luck. ठीक है, it depends कि who is reviewing your profile, क्या हो रहा है. तो you cannot restrict yourself to just giving your 110% to one case comp and then getting upset that you didn't make it. ठीक है, in case comps what you have to do is you have to actually apply to a lot of them. ठीक है, एंड नॉट जस्ट अप्लाई. एक तो होता है तुमने अप्लाई कर दिया, मेड सम सोल्यूशन एंड यू लेफ्ट एट इट. नो, बट अप्लाई, you get a chance, you get a link to watch their finals, see what the people who actually made to the next round, what extra were they offering. Like for me, it was happening online, so I used to take screenshots of the people, of the presentations that were happening online, and really opened my mind in the sense कि अरे हाँ, ये भी कर सकता था. I could have added this approach as well. Why did I just do a primary survey? Like I could have done this instead. This had so much more impact. I could have presented my idea in this way. I could have shown like 97% of the people do this, and that is why I want to do this. That whole presentation format and all of that, idea generation
Train of
comes
thought.
just that just comes by being part of a lot of case comps, and then after 3 to 4 to 5, you start to get a hang of it, and luckily you will be able to make some progress along the way, and then you will go through it. Like a lot of in my batch, a lot of people were like performed really well in case competitions, and a lot of them got their placements through
Yes.
PPIs through a case competition. Me, one of my friends got into Reckitt, then people got into Colgate, like really good companies, all through these case competitions.
It's more a probabilistic thing that the more number of opportunities you apply for, the more are your shortlist. That's what emphasizes.
In the sense, the more opportunities you apply for and the more you learn from them. Like you can't just apply and expect, matlab, if you
Yeah,
keep giving substandard submissions to all of them, तो नहीं होगा.
makes sense.
Apply. But ये है कि do not, the idea that I'm trying to drive through is कि ऐसा मत करो कि just give your 100% to one or two, because then it could be luck वाला factor कि तुम्हारा नहीं select हो and then you वो हो जाए. So make sure कि तुम कर रहे हो काफी सारे में पार्टिसिपेट जितना
Mhm.
पॉसिबल है, एंड मस्ट गो थ्रू these फाइनल्स, फिनालेस ऑफ
Finals. Yeah,
बस वहां तुम्हें
that's
जज का पर्सपेक्टिव भी मिलता है कि
that's an
what
advice. Yeah,
questions they will
that's an
ask.
advice. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. That's an advice when you go about scrutinizing whatever the final submissions were. You get to have an idea in your mind as well. Wow, that adds substance. But you mentioned that you were a part of a team in your undergrad when you were working on making a car.
Hmm.
And so, is there any startup support system apart from that for students at IITB?
So this was something I did in undergrad. This is something
Mm-hmm.
that happens in IITB as well. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like an engineering competition basically. You have to make a Formula car and race it in Booth Circuit or in Coimbatore. So it's not really a startup. But
Mm-hmm.
your question is about startups, right? You want,
Exactly.
so for startups there are plenty of opportunities, man. There is like eCell over there, which is like one of the biggest entrepreneurship cells that you have in India, and they have a lot of funding there. So our college also provides, for example, entrepreneurship club of my college, that also has mentoring possible. You have funds also available if you want to start up. But if you tap into the IIT ecosystem, say eSell, there you can get like really influential people to work with you. For example, I was working with this startup which is working diving into the pharmaceutical space, creating a new product, and their whole they're getting mentorship by some people from McKinsey and BCG. So I also got to interact and talk to them, and got that kind of exposure and build that network. So yeah, for startups, I think there is a lot of opportunities you have with it.
The ESL that you mentioned, sorry, you were saying.
Given that you put in the work, मतलब ऐसा नहीं होगा
Exactly.
that, हाँ, if you have that thing
Yeah.
that you want to do a startup, I think it is a great place. You also get a space, man, to work. You get on also get an office if you want
Brainstorm.
to run your startup and all.
Wow, wow, wow. And you mentioned the ESL that you mentioned, does it help you land Series A fundings as well, or does it help you land any other sources of finance?
Yes, it does help you. Like for example, yes, it does help you get funding. There is a cap on different funding. So, for example, there is one program in which first they give you some funds and they ask you to validate your idea. You
Hmm.
go out there and do this market research and all. And if you think that it has shown through, then you get a next set of funding. So these are the steps that they take to get the funding process. So yeah, there is a lot of opportunities in those things.
Yeah, yeah. Now that we've come towards the end of the episode, if there's one question that I want to ask you was the fact that how do IITs fare in comparison to the rest of the IIMs? Can you shed light on a few more advantages when we compare both the, premier institutions? Apart
IIMs,
from the audience part, of course, apart from
IIMs
the audience
also
part.
you'll have to actually segregate.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
there
the
is
top five black eye.
So
Yeah.
the top five black eyes. So now, so the next question is if you want to compare IITB with the top five, right? So now, what do you want? What is my next question. Like, if you want to get into operations, you're fixed into that. You can simply join IITB.
Mhm.
मतलब तुम्हें operations का role मिल ही जाएगा. And but हाँ, उसमें भी यार, it's a very tough question. First of all, that you asked, बहुत ज़्यादा tough है. ABC मिले तो चुपचाप लेना ही है. That is like the mecca of management for most
Universal
of
rule.
us.
Yeah.
ABC. But when you get into I think personally, I am Indore. I think, and if I'm fixated that मुझे operations करना है, I want to get into consulting. I want a good ROI because fees is not that much. I want like an IIT ecosystem, startup ecosystem चाहिए. Then I would choose an IIT over there. And but अगर मुझे लग रहा है कि नहीं यार, I want to maybe look into marketing, sales more, या फिर मुझे पता है मुझे उसी direction, then it's better that we go into an IIM Indore where there are a lot more opportunities for marketing and sales. Like,
Makes sense.
but wait, so there it is a tough call sometimes, but it depends on what you want and what you're looking for. Sometimes some people are just logged in of getting a good ROI, they have some responsibilities, and you can't really afford to pay so much. But yeah.
In the
But
long
ऐसा
term,
नहीं होगा in the long term, ऐसा नहीं होगा that you'll be like अरे यार, had I been to Blackie तो शायद I would have been fared well in my career. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा. It's just that the initial set of opportunities that you get might be a little different. ठीक है, but you will get it easier as well here as
at
compared
the
to
end, it's a level playing field. That's what you're trying to say.
after, yeah, after five. This is what I've seen in my seniors at least. ABC is a different ball game, honestly. I won't comment anything on that. If you're able to get in the top of ABC, McKinsey front end facing roles, investment banking, all of that, you get it. Getting that through IIT is going to be a long journey.
Exactly.
To be very honest with you. But in the sense that a lot of chunk of the people are not in ABC are not in McKinsey or all of that, right? They are
Hmm.
also normal companies, normally, matlab, regular companies that come into IIT. So there it plays out well. Because for
Yeah.
example, right now in Asian Paints, I have peers from I am Bangalore, I have peers from I am Calcutta, I have peers from I am Ahmedabad as well and Accelerate as well. तो ऐसा नहीं हो रहा that आईआईटी वाले बच्चों के लिए एक ही सेट ऑफ कंपनीज है वहाँ ये वाले बच्चे आते नहीं सो इट्स अ
Mhm.
मिक्स बट यू वोंट फील दैट डिसएडवांटेज.
About the senior management positions, though, do you think an MBA from the rest of the institutions might give you an advantage apart from ABC as well in the senior management positions, not just in the near future?
I mean, my alums have reached like a very significant position, like they are directors, uh, India heads, pan Asia heads. So going by that, I don't think that should be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are able to perform well, if you have those connections, you can play on that. I think you can get anything you want. ऐसा कुछ I don't feel like ऐसा कुछ है. You will definitely get an advantage in ABC, but ऐसा भी नहीं है that every senior management out there is from IIM ABC. You will
Makes
find them
sense.
from Indore, Kozhikode, you will find them from Shillong, you'll find them from IIT B. It's just that the number of people that we are churning out is a bit less.
Yeah.
Because you see, right, 120 people in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And even so, I think we are like around 25 to 26 years old. And initially, the batch was even smaller, 60 people,
Oh,
50 people.
I'm
So, so you see, right, the max alum, how many alums we have? 2,500, 3,000 odd alums. And itne alums like I am Ahmedabad like 2-3 saal mein nikal
last
gaye.
7 years. Yeah,
Last,
400 to 7.
yeah, 4 to 7 years. NMIMS has like 1,000 ka batch. They can do it in 2 years.
Yeah.
So that is one thing ki, one thing I feel ki that is one reason why IIT B के MBA school का इतना you don't get that name recall because
Mm-hmm.
there's a sheer the number of people are
The
very less.
numbers game. Yeah.
The number is very less unless the numbers once the numbers grow. I think that whole thing about marketing companies not being able to come to campus and all that, that will also be solved because when these
They look
companies
for a larger batch size. Yeah.
they want the larger batch. Over here, we have like these many people, and out of them, many get
Half of
placed,
them are already placed. Yeah.
already placed. So it becomes an issue for them.
Yeah.
So that is something that will happen in the future. But yes, as of now, I do not think that the 2,500 or 3,000 alums who graduated from IITB are doing any worse than or are not doing any better than the people from
The
regular
rest of
college.
the PS from my end.
It's just that the number is less, so you might not hear about them as much. Yes,
Mhm. Makes sense. Makes sense. And what would your $1 million advice be to all the aspirants out there who are yet to embark on their MBA journey or who are currently pursuing their MBA? What would your advice be like?
so for yet to get into the MBA journey, I think one thing that really stuck to me back then was that keep working, man. Matlab, keep putting in the efforts because this whole game involves a lot of luck, a lot of unprediction, matlab, a lot of things that won't go through your way. So just keep working and do not focus too much on the results. Matlab, have faith in that you are doing as much work as you could do, like in a decent amount, and let the results come in. If you fixate yourself, for example, if you fixate ki I will go only into Google. I will go
Mm.
only into a census strategy. I will go only into Asian Paints. Then you might get a bit upset because you might not just even get a shortlist, man. ऐसे तो क्या करोगे उस केस में? So take the results a bit chill. Just keep on working hard, and you will eventually things will pan out. This works for both before MBA. That do not fixate yourself कि हाँ कि
इसी कॉलेज में जाना है.
ये नहीं हुआ तो कुछ नहीं होगा ऐसा ऐसा नहीं होता है थोड़े टाइम थिंग ठीक है तो कर लो अभी वर्कआउट करो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दैट यू विल गेट अ ग्रेट परसेंटाइल इसी साल अगले साल में भी आ जाए बट जस्ट फोकस ऑन द वर्क डू नॉट गेट डीमोटिवेटेड इज व्हाट आई वांट टू से
You know that part where you mentioned कि अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला. That's the negative motivation that we use to push ourselves. That's how we squeeze out work.
दिस बैलेंस अगेन मतलब एक अपने माइंड में बैलेंस बना लो कि हाँ ठीक है टीयर 1 कॉलेज में जाना है या फिर मतलब मैक्सिमम टॉप 15 कॉलेज में जाना है उसमें अब मैं इतना नहीं नेगेटिविटी लाऊंगा कि अरे ये हुआ क्यों नहीं हुआ क्यों नहीं हुआ क्यों नहीं तो वो ना अननेसेसरी प्रेशर आ जाता है एंड देन नॉट एबल टू परफॉर्म ओवर देयर एज वेल मतलब आई एम कमिंग फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव कि जब हम इंटरव्यूज दे रहे होते हैं एंड वी हैव लाइक दीज आर माय बेस्ट कॉल्स यार ये तो कन्वर्ट कर नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा all of that overthinking that goes through sometimes people like break their confidence in all of that so don't do that that is what I'm saying it's always good that you get the best college and it's always good that uh, you have decided कि हाँ मैं I will go only into ABC अगर नहीं मिला तो नहीं मिला तो ठीक है गिव योर बेस्ट अगर नहीं हुआ तो कोई बात नहीं डू इट नेक्स्ट टाइम बट जो अननेसेसरी लोड लेके किसी इंटरव्यू में मत जाना क्योंकि
Exactly.
दैट विल फक इट अप फॉर यू तो देन यू विल बी लाइक कि यार ये हुआ नहीं कैसे नहीं हुआ अननेसेसरी ऐसा नहीं करना
And about the 4 months that you put in for your CAT preparation, was there anything, any advice that you followed? Ki, yes, I'd keep my mind in such a position, or were you already good at quants? What played the part?
So this advice is something that I followed every day because 4 months there were I used to overthink a lot यार होगा कि नहीं होगा आधा टाइम तो इसी में निकल जाता है यार एक मॉक टेस्ट खराब होता है you start doubting yourself
Reconsidering everything.
ये
Yeah.
नहीं होगा, तो उस वक्त पे यही होता है कि ठीक है, देख, आई टेकन दिस डिसीजन, ठीक है, I wrote it down somewhere and I used to read it every day that I've taken this decision. I know the day could have its up, its lows. I could do well, I could do bad, but I will do this amount of work every day. Result जो आया देखी जाएगी, हुआ तो हुआ, नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ. And trust me, this helped me so much because even at the last day I was not stressed
Wow.
because I had zero expectations. इतना मैंने अपने आप को रोज वो पढ़ के अपने दिमाग में डाल दिया कि नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ, life is not going to end, I will do something else. So then you just perform even better. And I remember some people, अच्छा, so I'll share a very close incident. तो क्या हुआ
Yeah.
था, 3 दिन पहले I gave a mock, ठीक है,
Mm. Mm.
and mock test दिया था, and I, I got in VARC, I remember I got 99.99 percentile,
Mm.
ठीक है, and in DALR,
Mm.
can you imagine the percentile that I got?
72.
Lower,
Oh, 60s.
lower,
50. 50s.
15 percentile, 1.5.
1-5.
That is the percentile I got 3 days before CAT. Now imagine when you get that percentile and you're suddenly like, भाई मुझे कुछ आता नहीं, what do I do? But I was like, ठीक है, चलेगा, कोई बात नहीं. And cut to the day I gave CAT, and my percentile came out to be 98.88 in
OMG.
yeah.
OMG.
तो मॉक टेस्ट को इतना लोड मत लेना. समटाइम दे, इससे बुरा तो किसी का नहीं, मेरे से बुरा तो किसी का नहीं हुआ होगा, आई थिंक, बिफोर 2 days. एंड इफ उस वक्त पे आई वुड हैव टेकन दैट अमाउंट ऑफ स्ट्रेस, तो फिर यू कीप दैट नेगेटिविटी इनसाइड एंड वो रिजल्ट फाइनल डे पे भी जाता है. So that is one thing that really worked out for me because I've seen some of my friends who got into that trap of this negative self talk,
Self-talk.
and they had great percentiles, but उस वक्त paper was a bit difficult, that and then they just got into that cycle कि ये नहीं हुआ, अरे ये तो मुश्किल हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हुआ. मत सोचो ना, just do
जो
जितना
हो
हो,
रहा है होने दो.
जो हुआ हुआ. It's difficult for you, it's difficult for everyone. मतलब it's not just you that it is going to be difficult. बस.
That is where CAT plays a part as well. It creates a level playing field for everybody. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much it, Siddharth. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate the fact that you took time out, given the fact that you work 6 days a week. And thank you so much, man.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, and yeah, I've been always up for helping people out because a lot of people have helped me in the past as well. So
Yeah.
really, just passing the favor forward, and would yeah, just recommend everyone who finds value that just help somebody out as well, right?
Yeah.
That's
This
what.
is the Salman Khan rule from Jai Ho. Ek hai
Yeah,
banda tikha.
yeah,
That's that.
I really believe in that. And yes, if anybody wants to reach out or has any other concerns,
Yeah.
they can reach
Head
out.
to his LinkedIn almost immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.